On May 18, 2025, a massive plasma filament launched from the surface of the Sun. To some, it's just another flare. But to those tuned into the deeper layers of space and soul, this is part of a spiritual pulse from our solar source. We're not watching a star behave strangely. We're witnessing a cosmic intelligence signaling Earth and humanity. As filaments erupt and the solar corona begins to shift, ancient cycles echo. This video explores whether we're entering a legendary era of solar awakening, not from a place of fear, but through clarity, wisdom, and multidimensional awareness. The Sun is communicating again. Are we finally listening? For thousands of years, ancient civilizations regarded the Sun as a living being, not a ball of gas. It wasn't worship. They were listening. The flares, the light shifts, the unusual activity, it was seen as communication, a cosmic language that spoke to the planet and the soul alike. Today, as we observe another colossal eruption, we're not just seeing fire, we're hearing a call. The question isn't, is the Sun active? It's, are we receptive? This isn't metaphor. Every solar event alters electromagnetic patterns across the Earth and within human consciousness. Modern science tracks sunspots and CMEs, but it often misses the subtle field of emotion, thought, and cellular memory that responds to these shifts. When the Sun speaks through magnetic storms, it's not just rearranging clouds, it's trying to activate something dormant within us. On May 18th, a huge plasma filament launched toward Earth, similar to the solar events of 1921. And yet, what's more important than the plasma is the timing. This flare comes during a moment when human consciousness is fragile, scattered, yet seeking something higher. It's as if the Sun knew we were ready, not for a disaster, but for a realignment. You may have felt this before the eruption. Sleepless nights, ringing in the ears, heart palpitations, emotional tides that make no rational sense. These are not random. They're indicators that your body, like an antenna, is adjusting to solar code. It's like the Sun sends out a tuning fork, and only those willing to pause and feel can hear the note underneath the noise. So here we are, not in fear, but in reverence. The Sun is not warning us, it's inviting us to align, to awaken, to see beyond the veil of the everyday. This is a transmission, and we're not passive observers. We are co-receivers, being asked not to predict what's next, but to listen deeper, from the quietest space inside. May 18th's filament eruption, a cosmic initiation, not a crisis. On the surface, the eruption of a massive plasma filament may look like a warning. But if we examine the deeper pulse of this event, what emerges is not destruction, it's initiation. The filament that launched from the Sun on May 18th was not a threat. It was a doorway, a current of encoded energy traveling through space to awaken something inside humanity that has long been dormant. Solar filaments are not random explosions. They are intelligent movements within a living celestial body. Think of them as solar breath, exhalations that carry electromagnetic codes across the solar system. The Earth doesn't just absorb these, she responds, and so do we. This isn't about being hit by a solar wave. It's about being invited to recalibrate, biologically, emotionally, spiritually. Just as the body undergoes a shake before a major breakthrough, Earth is experiencing a spiritual shiver. The Sun isn't malfunctioning, it's transmitting a higher octave. And those who are attuned will feel this filament as a sacred surge, not a fearful signal. You may feel disoriented, you may feel energized, you may feel like crying for no reason. That's because this is not just a space event, it's a soul-level alignment point. Those walking the path of awakening understand that evolution doesn't happen quietly. It cracks open illusions, it activates discomfort, as a tool for truth. And this solar event is no different. May 18th was not a crisis point. It was a cosmic checkpoint, asking you, are you still asleep in the matrix, or are you ready to evolve beyond it? So don't just track the path of this filament with satellites. Track what it stirred in your heart. What conversation surfaced? What emotion cracked open? What inner wall finally broke? Because that's the real eruption. The sun may have ejected plasma, but here on Earth, it's ejecting illusion, and only those with inner stillness will feel the sacredness of this initiation. When the corona dissolves, so does our illusion of separation. Scientists have noticed something extraordinary. The sun's corona, its outermost layer of light, is thinning and destabilizing in strange patterns. To the material eye, it appears like a structural shift. But to the intuitive heart, it signals something deeper, a dissolving of the illusion of separation. The corona represents radiance, the outer brilliance we all carry. And as it shifts, so must our own relationship with outer identity. The sun's corona is what gives us light without burning us. It is the energetic buffer between intensity and transmission. When this buffer dissolves, we are exposed, not to danger, but to raw spiritual truth. Just as solar storms bypass the corona to reach Earth directly, higher truth bypasses ego when the soul is ready to receive unfiltered awareness. You may begin to notice this in your daily life. Boundaries that once protected your ego begin to dissolve. You may become more emotionally transparent, more energetically sensitive, more honest about what's not working. It's not weakness, it's resonance. The layers are falling away because the outer shine is no longer sustainable without inner coherence. The corona dissolving is symbolic of the global shedding of personas, illusions, and surface-level connections. We're moving toward unity, not through agreement, but through exposure. The barriers that made us feel separate are burning off. The veils that kept us polite but untrue are fading in the light of cosmic transparency. So when you hear that the corona is thinning, don't fear for the sun. Instead, listen to what's thinning in you. What mask is finally ready to fall? What light are you now strong enough to absorb directly? Because what's happening up there is also happening in here. What geophysics misses, the spiritual purpose of solar unrest. Geophysicists are tracking this solar activity with urgency, measuring CME trajectories, magnetic field fluctuations, and auroral spikes. But what many miss is that these events are not just physical. They are energetic catalysts woven into a spiritual timeline. The unrest on the sun is not chaos. It is coded intervention, a divine disruption of stagnation. Solar unrest often coincides with human unrest. History shows that spikes in solar activity align with revolutions, mass awakenings, and psychological upheaval. Why? Because the same frequency that agitates the magnetic poles also stirs the dormant layers of consciousness. Our emotions, systems, and even dreams begin to shift under the pressure of celestial recalibration. It's not that the sun causes spiritual events. It reveals what was hidden underneath stillness. Think of it like stirring the bottom of a deep lake. All the forgotten debris rises to the surface, not to ruin the water, but to clean it fully. That's what solar unrest is doing to our inner and collective realities. We're not meant to avoid this energy. We're meant to learn how to ground it, to feel the disruption and still choose alignment, to be the stabilizers in the storm, not victims of it. Those who ignore the spiritual impact of solar energy will be overwhelmed, but those who integrate it consciously will be illuminated from the inside out. So yes, geophysics gives us numbers, graphs, and data, but spirit gives us the meaning, and right now the meaning is simple. The sun is shaking the earth to wake the soul. What comes next depends on how deeply we're willing to receive what is rising. Solar cycle 15. Repeating, or a consciousness upgrade in disguise. Many experts are now comparing current solar behavior to solar cycle 15, which peaked around May of 1921, a time marked by a Carrington-level flare and geomagnetic impact. But there's a crucial difference between then and now: the consciousness of humanity. What felt like pure disruption in 1921 may now serve as a multidimensional upgrade, if we meet it with awareness. In 1921, the infrastructure wasn't ready, nor was human understanding. Technology collapsed, communication failed, and spiritual insight was minimal. Today, while the sun is repeating familiar patterns, we are not the same observers. We are more energetically sensitive, more psychically aware, and more prepared to respond with inner stability rather than outer panic. This doesn't mean we won't face challenges. Technology may falter, electric systems may fluctuate, but what will rise in its place is clarity, the rediscovery of internal navigation, intuition, and soul communication. Solar cycle 15 might be echoing in the sky, but on Earth, we are in a different vibrational conversation. If we treat this moment like a threat, we'll fall back into fear and dependency. But if we recognize it as an opportunity, we'll initiate a new rhythm of living, one less tied to control and more aligned with cosmic coherence. The solar flash of 2025 won't just disrupt, it could reboot the human circuit if we allow it. This isn't about avoiding disruption, it's about using it, seeing the divine in the breakdown, feeling the grace in the crackling of systems. Because what's returning is not just another solar peak, it's the return of cosmic memory, and your soul is finally ready to absorb the light. Why the magnetic field of Earth mirrors your inner terrain? The Earth's magnetic field is not just a shield, it's a mirror. As solar winds intensify and geomagnetic storms ripple through the planet's crust, you may notice that your inner world begins to stir in parallel. Your emotional body, your nervous system, your intuitive core, all begin to react because the Earth and the human body are designed from the same cosmic architecture. Just as the magnetic field regulates navigation in birds, whales, and bees, it also regulates the internal compass of your consciousness. When it wobbles or fluctuates, so too does your clarity, focus, and emotional balance. But this isn't a flaw. It's an invitation to recalibrate your frequency in harmony with Earth's shifting rhythm. If your thoughts feel scattered, if your energy dips suddenly, or if you feel waves of anxiety without external cause, you're likely feeling this alignment. The planet is shaking off distortion, and so are you. The same solar data that scrambles satellite signals is also reprogramming the subtle layers of your perception. This is why grounding becomes essential, not just physically, but energetically. Root yourself in silence, walk barefoot, spend time near water or stone. You're not just calming down, you're realigning with Earth's evolving heartbeat. Because when you stabilize within, you help stabilize the entire field around you. The Carrington Echo. What the 1921 event is trying to teach us now. In May 1921, the Earth was hit by a solar storm so powerful it disrupted communication systems and created visible auroras as far as the equator. Today, as similar solar conditions return, we must ask, what was that event truly signaling, and why is it resurfacing now? The past isn't repeating itself, it's reminding us. That event wasn't just a physical impact, it was a preview, a cosmic bookmark placed in Earth's story to prepare us for a much bigger moment ahead. Back then, society wasn't equipped, technologically or spiritually, to interpret the deeper meaning. But now, we have the consciousness to decode the lesson, rather than fear the phenomena. The Carrington-class storms disrupt the outer layers of our infrastructure, yes, but they also dissolve rigid mental patterns and outdated collective programming. They shake us loose from dependency, forcing us to remember other ways of knowing, connecting, and aligning. In a strange way, the breakdown clears the path for breakthrough. So, as solar activity mirrors 1921, don't just study it as historical recurrence. Feel into it as energetic repetition, a nudge from the sun saying, "You've seen this before, now rise above it." The lesson isn't survival, the lesson is transformation, and this time we're finally ready to learn it fully. Plasma as messenger, what these filaments really transmit. When we hear plasma filament, we tend to think of radiation and electronics. But in spiritual terms, plasma is solar breath, a luminous carrier of encoded energy. These fiery threads of matter are not random emissions. They're conscious data streams, encoded with information that influences both Earth and human awakening. Think of them as letters from the sun, written in light, aimed at awakening dormant frequencies in our DNA. Plasma is alive with intention. It doesn't just carry heat, it carries vibration, memory, and evolutionary impulse. And when a large filament breaks loose, it's like the sun saying, it's time for the next phase of remembrance. If you've been feeling waves of intuition, bursts of vision, or sudden shifts in emotional intensity, it's not all internal. You're responding to these transmissions of light-coded wisdom, even if you don't consciously realize it. The sun is triggering you to shed the old and hold more voltage, more truth, more light, more multidimensional awareness. This is why spiritual preparation matters. When your nervous system is clear, your heart is open, and your ego is quiet, these plasma waves don't destabilize you. They illuminate you. You don't just endure the solar upgrade, you embody the next version of yourself through it. Solar weather and the soul, a forgotten interconnection. For centuries, sages and astronomers alike understood the sacred link between solar cycles and soul cycles. But in modern times, we've reduced the sun to a utility, something that grows crops and powers satellites. We've forgotten that it's also a cosmic initiator, igniting spiritual thresholds at every flare. Just as the moon governs tides and emotions, the sun governs transmutation. Solar storms agitate the field so that deeper truths rise to the surface. When solar weather becomes intense, so do your inner confrontations. Your unresolved fears, unlived dreams, and hidden wounds begin to show themselves, not to hurt you, but to reveal where your light is still trapped. This is why some people feel exhausted during geomagnetic storms, while others feel euphoric. It depends on where you are in your own inner evolution. Are you resisting the upgrade, or are you allowing the friction to polish you into a clearer version of your soul blueprint? The next time you see an aurora forecast or CME alert, don't just check your electronics, check your inner field. Ask what's surfacing, what's pulsing, what's rising. Because solar weather is not a cosmic accident, it's a soul conversation. And if you listen, you'll find yourself not surviving the storm, but synchronizing with it. Your pineal gland is syncing with solar flares. The pineal gland has long been called the seat of the soul, a tiny crystalline structure in the center of your brain capable of transducing spiritual light into human perception. During solar flare activity, this gland becomes unusually responsive. It reacts not just chemically, but vibrationally, syncing with the frequency pulses emitted by the sun. Every flare that touches Earth carries subtle spectrums of ultraviolet and X-ray data, not just physical, but energetic information. When that energy reaches you, your pineal gland begins to vibrate differently. You may experience vivid dreams, light flashes in closed eyes, expanded intuition, or even spontaneous insight without context. This isn't spiritual fantasy, it's biological resonance. The pineal gland is like an antenna, and during high solar activity, it catches more signal from the invisible cosmic network. Your sense of time may distort. You may feel drawn to solitude. And above all, your inner compass may suddenly point to a deeper truth you hadn't dared to consider. Rather than fear these changes, welcome them. The pineal isn't being overstimulated, it's being recalibrated. Solar flares aren't just radiation, they're activation codes. And as your pineal synchronizes, it brings the wisdom of stars into your body. It helps you remember that you are not just made of light, you are here to translate it into awareness. Geomagnetic storms aren't just weather. When a geomagnetic storm hits Earth, most people think of power outages, satellite issues, or GPS interference. But there's a deeper truth few talk about. These storms are cosmic alarms, built into the matrix of our solar system, designed to interrupt the illusion of normalcy and initiate collective awareness. Geomagnetic storms shake not just electrical systems, but also emotional and psychic fields. You may notice people become more reactive, more tired, or strangely introspective. Why? Because the storm is scrubbing density out of the human aura. It brings what's hidden to the surface, not to harm, but to heal through visibility. These storms create energetic turbulence for a reason. They push stagnant thought loops out. They accelerate decisions long delayed. They create glitches in the script so that a higher truth can rewrite the scene. They don't destabilize. They shake us free from inertia. That's why so many awakenings happen during heightened solar activity. So when the sky glows and the magnetosphere hums, ask yourself, what am I being shown that I usually ignore? What part of me is waking up now that the veil is thinner? The sun is not attacking Earth, it's alerting humanity. And the real question is, will you hear the alarm as a threat or as an invitation to rise? Divine disruption, how the sun is rewriting collective memory. We tend to think of memory as personal, but much of what we carry is collective, passed down through generations, imprinted through society, and wired into group consciousness. As the sun increases its activity, something powerful is happening. These collective memory fields are being rewritten. Solar light doesn't just affect cells, it penetrates the morphogenetic field, the invisible memory architecture of human evolution. When strong enough, solar bursts begin to dislodge inherited fear patterns, ancestral shame, and historical trauma loops. You might not know why you're feeling heavy or tearful, but chances are you're processing more than your own past. This divine disruption is sacred. It doesn't just shake what's personal. It dissolves the stories humanity has clung to. War, division, unworthiness, scarcity. These are not just political realities. They're vibrational codes passed through time. And the sun is burning through the ones no longer aligned with the new Earth frequency. If you feel emotional waves rise without a clear reason, honor them. You are not broken. You are cleansing what entire lineages could not. Solar activity isn't just about the future. It's about rewriting the past so that a new version of human possibility can finally emerge. Let it wash through you. Let it free the space where light wants to live. CME impacts and timeline convergence, an underrated link. Coronal mass ejections, CMEs, are often described in scientific terms, massive solar explosions hurtling plasma toward Earth. But what's rarely explored is how these impacts correspond to convergence points in time. CMEs don't just disrupt, they synchronize timelines, triggering rapid events, revelations, and quantum realignments. A strong CME can shake reality just enough to unstick events, pushing dormant paths into motion. Old choices come back for review. New synchronicities ignite. What seemed impossible last week now unfolds rapidly. These aren't coincidences. They are the byproduct of energetic convergence, powered by solar force and divine timing. When solar plasma meets Earth's field, something happens in consciousness. We start collapsing outdated versions of ourselves. You might feel like time is folding. Past, present, and future blur. People show up from old lives. Opportunities reappear with new clarity. That's because the flare realigns reality, not just outside, but within. To work with this convergence, stay grounded and alert. Don't rush, don't resist. Instead, observe the shift in rhythm. Notice what's accelerating and what's dissolving. Because every CME is not just a solar event, it's a timeline upgrade, reminding you that your path is not linear, it's light responsive. The shift from external sun to inner solar core. There is a deeper mystery unfolding beneath the cosmic spectacle, one that goes beyond science or prophecy. As the external sun grows louder in the sky, your internal sun is being called to awaken. This isn't symbolic, it's literal. The solar plexus, the solar center of your being, is being activated to mirror the sun's expansion. The inner sun is the source of will, confidence, and spiritual power. When it's dim, we look outward for direction. But when it ignites, we begin to live from alignment. Solar activity is calling us to stop depending solely on celestial events and start recognizing that the same light lives within us. You may feel this as a pressure in the stomach, an urge to stand taller, speak truer, or take action on long-held visions. This is your inner core stabilizing as the outer field destabilizes. The sun is not making you powerless. It's showing you how powerful you already are when you turn inward to lead. This shift is subtle but life-changing. As above, so within. When you honor your own solar light, you don't react to the world, you radiate through it. And that, more than any prediction or preparation, is what will carry you through this solar cycle with grace. Solar portals and dimensional thresholds, the hidden mechanics. Each solar flare, each burst of plasma, carries with it more than electromagnetic energy. It creates portals. These aren't science fiction wormholes. They are dimensional thresholds, openings in consciousness that allow new timelines, thoughts, and realities to enter the human experience at a quantum level. When solar activity peaks, the veil between densities thins. You may experience time distortion, spontaneous insight, even strange occurrences that defy logic. These aren't hallucinations. They are indications that you are crossing into higher vibrational bandwidths, temporarily available through solar light. These windows don't last long. They open, deliver, and close. But what you absorb during them can redefine the course of your path. A conversation that seems casual may shift your life. A dream may decode your next chapter. A decision made in alignment during a flare can ripple across timelines with power. The key is presence. Stay open. Stay aware. Not everything you're experiencing is linear or rational. Some of it is multidimensional technology delivered through starlight. The sun isn't just heating your skin, it's handing you keys to doors you never knew existed. This is not the end, it's the radiant reset we've waited for. With everything that's unfolding, from plasma eruptions to geomagnetic storms to dimensional rifts, it's tempting to see this as a closing chapter. But in truth, this is not the end. It's the radiant reset our souls signed up for long before this incarnation. The earth is not dying. It is rebirthing through light. Solar activity isn't here to break us. It's here to strip away what's false, stagnant, and no longer aligned with the vibrational evolution of humanity. These aren't disasters. They are detoxes. And we're not being punished. We're being prepared for a higher version of our collective story. This reset will not be easy. Some will resist. Some will awaken. Some will fall away so others can rise. But the path forward isn't about dominance. It's about frequency. The sun is asking, will you live from reaction, or will you radiate truth? Will you collapse in fear, or rise in coherence? So look to the sky, yes, but also look inward. What is erupting in the sun is a mirror of what is activating in you. And as we walk through this luminous threshold, remember, this isn't chaos, it's creation. And you weren't born to survive it. You were born to embody it fully.